Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing something that's not new, but it's certainly something that's worth mentioning. It's an in-ceiling speaker from Elac, their IC V61W. Explaining all that, they do an IW for in-wall, they do an IC for in-ceiling. It's the series that they offer. 61 tells us it's a 6 or 6.5 inch drive unit. So obviously if it was an IWV65 it would be a 6.5 inch in-wall. W for white grill. These speakers, their main goal is to complement both the debut and debut reference range of speakers with something to allow a home to sing with one voice as you end up with multi-room audio dotted around the space. Kitchens, dining rooms, studies, bedrooms, hallways, all can be complemented with in-ceiling or in-wall speakers from the same brand within the same sort of voicing. Its main priority though is to ensure that those that are invested in the front 3 speakers in home theatre can have a discrete in-ceiling rear configuration, whether it be 5.1 or 7.1, and with emerging formats like Atmos complement a suitably good home theatre with in-ceiling Atmos, whether it be 2 or 4 speakers. So to have such a wonderful range on tap, ready to go, is a wonderful compliment to Elac and their understanding of how they've got to complement what they do so well in their floor standing and traditional speakers with something that's going to go in the wall or ceiling. So let's have a look. Elac, been doing it a while now. The packaging's pretty muted though. Brown box, black writing. We've got model and serial number information on one side along with some scannable information. We've got a basic line drawing on one side, and this gives an understanding of what's inside the box. And some basic information, multilingual as far as its frequency response and something like that. It's a 1-inch tweeter and a 6.5-inch mid-bass driver. It'll get down to 45 Hz, which is astonishing for an in-ceiling speaker. And all the way up to 20 kHz, of course. Look, as standard, I think it's like 6 ohms. And it will run quite easily with a relatively modest amplifier if required, all the way up the range if you want to. It's kind of average in its impedance and other things, kind of average in its efficiency. It's about 90 dB. Okay. Opening these, really straightforward. I mean, this is just basic, simple packing tape. Okay. So inside we see a box within a box. This becoming sort of a freight cart. Okay. And a relatively plain cardboard box. The outer box being utilised for freight tickets and potentially protecting the product from a carrier that's not necessarily as good as it could be. Opening that, it's very straightforward. And we see a brochure about the Elac in-wall and in-ceiling range. It's in a Ziploc bag, and beneath that a simple template. It's actually very well thought out, it's easy to tear, and it gives you the ability to place the speaker easily and then cut holes appropriately. Inside it we see a basic thin box which is protecting the grill. And the grill is actually protected by a centralized piece of cardboard. The grill is perforated with no bezel, and there's an Elac logo in a little Ziploc bag. The grill has a felt sort of inner to ensure that there's a little bit of less light reflection from the speaker in behind, and it's got a nice fit and finish, good solid quality grill. Getting the speaker out of the box is pretty straightforward at that point, and it's wonderful to see that they've opted for a recyclable cardboard use in their packaging rather than something as permanent as polystyrene. Now, there's an oversized bag then protecting the speaker itself, so getting it out's relatively straightforward. And then we see what was alluded to with the line drawing on the side of the box. And that's a beautiful circular grille, 6.5-inch bass driver set in slightly, and then an offset tweeter, and that's one of the important parts and why I'm so proud to be sharing it, because they've thought about every element. This is relatively cheap, and so when you see really good points of engineering, really good methods that have been brought into the manufacturing, we start admiring this product just a little bit more. The first, of course, is a place for them to put their logo, but with an offset tweeter it means that the mid-bass driver is less interrupted by something that's sitting in a very traditional sort of coaxial design in the centre. It means that there is very little reflection off that, and everything is managed from a disbursement perspective. The tweeter itself is doubly protected by Elac's disbursement grille, so it doesn't just add protection, but it helps to disperse the tweeter into the room more evenly. There's magnets to hold the grille in place, and again the mid-bass driver with good excursion. Looking at the side, and please, as always, hang around for some photographs. I'll take some close-ups where I can. We see the depth of the speaker, which is relatively modest for its category. Good quality push-clip binding posts, and the classic dogleg design as far as the method of attaching this to the ceiling. A quick quarter turn with a screwdriver, it flicks this dogleg out, and then you slowly wind it in around the surface. You can see the exposed basket, annulus and Fabian leads, all of very, very good quality. The components, the crossover networks and other things like that, are protected behind this backplate or grille, I guess. That plastic ensures that should there be any insulation or something like that lying on it, none of it's going to come into contact with any of the electrical parts. The rear drive unit has a part number scannable, and the model number, again the IC V61W. There's the Elac logo, and the mid-bass driver is actually, the magnet has a hole in it to allow for cooling and better air movement as that drive unit moves with high excursion. Again, revisiting its depth and the dog legs, all of excellent quality for its price. So, there we have it. Elac 6.5-inch in-ceiling speaker, unboxed here at the Listening Post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.